Assassin's Creed Shadows pre-orders are in line with Odyssey. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Odyssey actually sell pretty well?
It did.
It did.
It did. I actually think it. Let me fucking hold up. I don't want to get this wrong because I actually think it was one of the better ones.
Yeah.
I don't hold me to that. I'm gonna look it up now because my fucking brain is.
You do that. Ubisoft is happy with the pre-launch build of Assassin's Creed Shadows, despite multiple delays that pushed the game out of 2024 into March 20th of 2025. I don't think there's a single person on Earth that believes that this game was delayed for like polish or any shit like that. We all know why it was really delayed, because it was going into February and it was going to get fucking butt-blocked. Ubisoft CEO Big Yves Triple G Gilmont says that the interest in the game has seen strong pre-orders overall. During Ubisoft's Q3 of 2025's earnings call on Thursday, Gilmont said that the pre-orders of Assassin's Creed Shadows are tracking solidly and in line with those of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, the second most successful entry of the franchise. Aside from the pre-orders, Ubisoft says that the previews of the game have been strong from multiple angles. I've actually seen it being kind of split, in all honesty, based off people that had that early access, builds that they could play. Early previews have been positive, praising its narrative and immersive experience. I have not seen that part. While both characters playing a critical role in the game's storyline as well as quality. Now, that's interesting because yesterday they were talking about that, saying you only need to play one character if you want to, or the day before, or whatever it was. So in the span of less than a week, it was, hey guys, you can only play one character and not really miss out on a whole lot, to, hey, both are pretty fucking good overall. He continued, I want to commend the incredible talent and dedication of the entire Assassin's Creed team, who is working tirelessly to ensure that Shadows delivers on the promise of what is the franchise's most ambitious entry yet. Assassin's Creed Shadows was originally scheduled for November 15th of 2024. It was then delayed until February 14th of 2025, Valentine's Day, because people that are going to get this game because they got no bitches, and more polished updates, and then in January was delayed until March 20th. No, it was delayed from February to March because March is just too stacked. There's just too much going on in March for them to compete. So the big question that's going on with this one now is we're getting close to the release. Again, I know we've said that a few times now, but we are getting close to the release. And I think everyone's going to be curious to see just how well this game sells, or not well.
If this is true, it's already beating Mirage.
That's wild.
That is fucking insane. That means it's beating Mirage already before the game is out.
Yeah.
Because it is tying with Odyssey, which is the second most sold Assassin's Creed game.
It's not tying, it's in line. So that is a little bit vague. That can just mean it's similar.
Dude, that means it's outselling the big ones, though. Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed 3, Black Flag. It's actually, like, Odyssey is the second most sold one. So if it's tying with, like, the third or that means it's still already making its money, depending how much it was actually spent on it, but...
Not quite. So there's a couple things. I think this is a little bit of semantics playing. Now, I think this game will be a lot more successful than we originally thought, right? This is good for Ubisoft. But what it's saying is its pre-sales, its pre-orders are online, right? With what Odyssey was. Now, what does that mean? We don't know, because eventually people are going to review it. They're going to be coming out. The game's going to come out. People are going to get a chance to play it, and we will see what happens within that week. I will be interested to see those first week sales, because we'll get a better idea of people who have bought it, play it, refund it, or if the sales just completely drop off, or the sales explode and it becomes one of the most successful ones in the franchise. Who knows? The thing is, these numbers don't really mean much other than it's doing better than expected currently. So, but it doesn't mean it's going to be the most. It doesn't mean it's going to be the third most selling game in the franchise. Even it may be one of the lowest selling in the franchise. It just does really well in this portion. I would reckon it's going to sell better than Mirage, probably. Like I do think that in the end, but I think people are now being like, holy shit, this game's gonna be a massive success. Hold up, just wait a minute and let's see what the numbers are first, and then if it is a success, we can then try to figure out why the fuck that happens. My thought is there's a lot of Japanophiles out there. I mean, you know this, Lethal. There's a lot of people who will just buy shit because it has to do with Japan. Yeah. So there's a ton of those types of people, and I think that has something to do with it. There's a lot of people who just want to play an Assassin's Creed game, and they don't pay attention to the news. They don't pay attention to all the shit going on with it, right? And they're just like, Assassins go brap. I want to play the game. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But Ubisoft isn't out of the woods, even if this is a success. That's the thing. A lot of people are going to be like, well, Ubisoft is solved now. And even Ubisoft themselves will be like, look, we got a good game. We're good. But it's not. You still have a bunch of failures from last year, right? You have X Defiant that's shutting down in a couple weeks. I believe like 2 or 3 weeks it's gone. So that's a big failure as well. And we also have to look at what they have coming down the pipe. I'm a little worried about certain things like the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake. I'm worried about Far Cry 7 that would be when that comes out. Like there is a lot of things to be worried about, but kudos to Ubisoft. It looks like their gamble of delaying the game paid off tentatively.
Yeah.
What I'm curious of is this a case of the hate is just online?
Yeah.
Like how far spread is this actually? Like
because
I don't know. I don't have anyone that I can actually go and talk to and ask them and go, "How do you guys feel about Assassin's Creed?" All my more normie friends either just play Assassin's Creed or they don't. They don't really have an opinion one way or the other.
Yeah.
I still think it's impressive to be beating Mirage pre-orders. I'm sorry, that is.
Oh, yeah, it is.
That one was being talked about positively until they showed off the God stuff, right? And even then, people were still saying, oh, it's just one little thing. I'm still pre-ordering it. It's going back to its roots. People weren't full cope even after seeing that, right? So for this game to be beating the one that had all the old fans coming back, that's still pretty crazy.
Unless he's completely lying.
Yeah, that's why I said it's true.
My thing is, if he lies about that, there's going to be actual repercussions because that's going to affect people's, purchasing that stock of Ubisoft. Because I guarantee you their stock is probably up right now. You can check if you want, but I would bet that it's probably up. Good numbers, that type of stuff. That would be really fucking bad. Yeah, look at how far up it is. And that's just from today. But if you go to like the 1 month average, we'll be able to see a little bit better. Okay, well, maybe not. But it did get a bit of a bounce back up, right? Yeah, if people buy this, assuming that the game is selling a certain amount, because he's saying it's, only behind this. And then you finds out, oh yeah, by the way, it was bullshit. He's gonna have a lot of fucking problems. Like there could actually be some legal ramifications for that because you're not supposed to lie about that shit. It's a bit. It's what the homies call fraud. And you can go to prison for that.
He has a backup plan. Ubisoft CEO Big Yves Guillemot says the plan is to focus on open world and live service games year after year. Yves Guillemot says the company is focused on these two pillars going forward. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So during the same Q&A, following a presentation of the company's financial results of its quarter 3 to 2024-2045, one caller asked if the executives on the panel could shed light on their development pipeline going forward. CEO Yves Guillemot replied that the focus was mainly going to be open world adventures like Assassin's Creed and live service games like Rainbow Six Siege and Crew Motorfest for the foreseeable future. It's pretty much if you don't like the direction of Ubisoft at the moment, you're not going to like it going forward. We've been investing significantly for a big pipeline of products over the coming years along our two verticals, those being open world action adventure as well as games as a service narrative experience. And that's what we want to deliver year after year. Going on to discuss games already confirmed, he added, as you know, we're preparing a big launch for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Next year, we have big plans for Rainbow Six across all platforms. That's focusing well, and that's a key milestone in the growth plan of the company. We've announced that Anno 117 Pax Romania will also come next year, as well as Division Resurgence on mobile. We're saved, boys. And this is coming along well. We just haven't provided more color of the 2026, and we'll have more to share by the time of May. As I've just said, we have a strong platform for the future years across the two verticals. Bullshit! I'm going to go ahead and say bullshit. And this is, again, just going back to, is Assassin's Creed Shadows just internet hate? You can argue back and forth with that. But what you can't argue with is physical fucking numbers. And to what Cream Data was saying before, X Defiant, as much as I think it's better than Black Ops 6, shut down, right? Skull and Bones, fucking 200 people playing it, right? And they're still committed to that. Fucking, how many players does Division 2 have? Fuck all. For Honor, fuck all. Crew Motorfest and all that, they do well, but that's got its own share of drama. The only really, really solid thing, and I'm not talking in terms of quality, just in terms of stability, the only really solid thing they have is Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, and even that was starting to die off for a long time. That was almost like a by luck that it basically shot back up, because if Jinxie picks up a different game, Rainbow Six doesn't get that fucking big. It's due to that's something where the internet ran with it because they liked the game, and it is a fun game to play. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say Rainbow Six isn't, but it's not doing well because of Ubisoft. It's doing well because, yes, they made a good quality game, and then people are running with it. You know, Ubisoft stopped at the development and they kind of just update the game a little bit, but it has to do with like Jinxie. Like Mazza said, if it wasn't for Jinxie, Rainbow Six wouldn't be doing as well as it is right now, because that game was on the way out. So that's the one thing they do have that's a success. And that big news about he's talking about, we have big news and big plans for Rainbow Six, right? We've been talking about this. There's apparently a rumor they're doing another Rainbow Six Siege. Yeah, so we have that. Another thing I want to bring up here is Lord Botha says their net bookings are down 52% over Q4. I'm not too surprised, because they didn't release a game in Q4. That was supposed to be Assassin's Creed, but they didn't release a game. So obviously, if you're not releasing a game, nobody is, you're not getting booking because you have nothing to book. So there's that as well. I think Ubisoft is stabilizing a tiny bit, but my worry with them is now they're going to look at Assassin's Creed and be like, hey, holy shit, we dodged a massive fucking bullet here, and focus on, hey, look, we dodged that bullet while the guy with the machine gun's still firing at them, and they're still going to be in trouble. It's just they're not in, as dire trouble as we thought they would have been, as if this game had failed. So good on them for fucking dodging the bullet, but I still am very worried about that company.
Of course, it's very possible that all these people pre-order the game and then reviews come out and they're like, fuck that.
A refund. Yeah.
That's always possible as well. But yes, it's just a matter of time will tell. We will see. I rarely say this, but I'm praying on this game's downfall. I'm praying on this game's downfall. I
prayed for this. I
prayed. But wait, if it does flop, I'm going live. I'm going live dressed as Drew McIntyre. I'm just going to sit down and go, I prayed for this.
I prayed that you'd get injured, Punk. I prayed for it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, good shit.
All right, final prediction, Moz. Success or flop? And by success, I just mean, makes its money back and some.
I don't know. After seeing that many pre-orders, it's kind of hard to go against it right now. Unless it would have to really... I mean, think about all the things that have been shown, how many times we've made fun of it, how many things have come out, and it's still just doing well. Like, how the fuck? Like, do you remember all the glitches that on their own show and shit? So I think it's going to be a hated success. Like, everyone's going to hate the game, but it's going to be successful in terms of money. I think it's going to be a hated success. I don't think people are going to like the game. It's going to have terrible reviews, but it's still going to make its money. Because think about everything, all the bad shit that's come out right now about the game, all the bugs, all the broken shit that we've seen from their own
just
fucking
the bad
show.
PR, just the bad PR.
All that, and it's still up there was the best pre-order. How?